If they running their mouth, then they looking for trouble. Ran right up in the knowledge, now they back in the huddle. See, they know we can fight. New content every week. Me and Dr. Clyde keep on bringing the heat. Now they know that we driven, and they know we ain't quitting. Yoshi and Dr. Winner keep on bringing the energy. Unity. See, they know we ain't stopping, and they know they got problems, and they ran out of options. If they know got a problem, can't let it go unsolved. Bring back learning, Afrocentric history, we see tomorrow. Karma's karma, I say what I say, I hear underwater. Till I see I fall off, then I bring y'all up on note. I'm back up on my Clyde winners, 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 divine winters, Clyde winters, mind bender, Clyde winters, I'm Richard, ride with ya, master teacher, create masters, Clyde winters, give respect to the elder, Clyde winters, I coming somebody out there looking for me. I told you somebody out there looking for me.
I've not told lies. I've not stolen food. I was not stolen. I've not fornicated with the fornicator. I've not caused anyone to weep. I have not dissembled. I have not transgressed. I have not discussed secrets. I have brought no lawsuits. I have not wronged population. I have not struck kill. I have not transgressed the law. I have not been hunted. Except when I'm talking about on the song. I have not made extolling. I have not bragged. I have not cursed. I have not been violent. I have not confounded truth. I have not been impatient. I have not cursed against
Dr. Winter's legacy is a testament to the power of knowledge and the unyielding spirit of exploration. His impact is felt worldwide, as he shares and enlightens at conferences, symposiums, and collaborative projects. His voice is a beacon in the academic world, challenging, inspiring, and always educating. His journey reminds us that the quest for knowledge is never-ending, and its impact is timeless. Dr. Winters teaches us to challenge the narratives and to learn with an open mind. As he always says, B1 is not a group, it's a lineage. Let his story inspire everybody to pursue knowledge relentlessly and to always seek the truth. Now let us welcome in the grandfather of research, the Trill OG himself, the Honorable Dr. Clyde Winter.
What up, though? What up, though? Hey, how you doing, JP? You know, this is a great day. A wonderful day. What makes the day great? Well, I woke up this morning. Anytime, let me tell you something, family. Anytime you're not under the green, you're okay. Yes. Anytime you're not under the green, you're okay. You know, it's a beautiful day here in Chicagoland. No rain. The weather's been real nice. It hasn't been muggy. It hasn't been super hot, but you still had to kind of. It's the day I like. It's the day when I can go out there and get some of that melanosynthesis. Stand in the sun and just let the rays come down on me. How you doing, Joan? Defaults, what up, though? You know, and the thing is, this is that it's just a wonderful day, and every day is wonderful because I used to a lot of times I used to say you know that this or that is no good, and then my wife would say you can't blame it on the day. The day is beautiful. Why are you doing Planet Wells? And she was right. The days are always good. They're always good, D. Foster. And the reason that they're always good is because the fact is that we're here to exist. We're here to leave. You know, but one thing that I do think is very important to understand is that we, you know, as foundational Black Americans, we are a product of ethnogenesis. I know some people. I know some of my Aboriginal friends. They said we don't like that, Dr. Winters. You're talking about that there's an ethnogenesis that we're Black or we're African. No, our ancestry is African. Our heritages can be whatever you want to be: Dravidian, you know, West African, East African, Caribbean, you know, Catholic, Moor, Hebrew. That's a heritage. That can be whatever you want, but you know, our ancestry is Africa, and in America we went through an ethnogenesis. And many people wonder why is it that foundational Black Americans, that the whole culture, the world culture is based on FBA, foundational Black Americans. The music, the food, the modern civilization. The modern civilization is based upon what? Fast means of communication, industrialization. All of these things, we did it first. It was foundational Black Americans who, Elijah McCoy, who invented the oiling machine. This oiling machine, people to industrialize. It made it so that engines could run and not just burn up, so you had to put in engine after engine after engine. We done that. We, in a sense, we invented the cell phones. We made the first telephone work. Yes. We even made the light bulb. Lewis T. Lattimore, Granville T. Woods. These people, the whole world civilization is based on us. And it's based on us because we are a unique people. Foundational Black Americans are unique people. We are unique people because we are the product of an ethnogenesis out of 3 ethnic groups: Aboriginal, Black Irish, Sub-Saharan African. We became the foundational Black Americans. And that, in a sense, is so wonderful. Where would the world be without us? Where would the world be without those great inventions? You know, it is just so fine. You know, on Sunday, I talked to the Prasides, you know, JP and her sister, you know, and it's very important. Is I love the fact, I love talking to these sisters. I love talking to these young ladies because the fact is that they come from the family in the chat. They come from the family in the chat. The family in the chat and my Patreon, they have been so supportive of me, and they've given me so many great ideas, and they've really come to the fore. When I first came online, when I first was with Reverend Dr. Matthews, and I was talking about I wanted to see other people come out. I wanted to see people take up the mantle of research. I wanted to see other people, in a sense, creating new things. And that's what they did, you know? That's what they did, you know? Jalen and Jada, the Prasides, they've done a lot of research. Yoshimad, he's been doing a lot of research. Yoshimad, he's been doing such great research. He's made so many beautiful videos, and these videos are just so fantastic, so fantastic. You know, let's look at one of his videos, and because they are very cool.
And in any given time, I may be followed. Mama the ocean and I may be hollow. And in any given time, I may be followed. Mama the ocean and I may be hollow. And in any given time, I may be followed. Mama the ocean.
What I like about this video is he begins with our Aboriginal heritage. He begins with the fact that over in America, we as to an ethnogenesis, Aboriginal, blacks, black Africans, black Irish, we mixed on those plantations as chattel slaves. We went through an ethnogenesis that led to us becoming FBA. And this is what I like about this video. At any given time, it begins with our Aboriginal heritage and moves up to today. Get up, get up.
At any given time, I may die. What's it that you don't want me to say? I've been big on my listen to me. Sometimes I feel like the living in me. On my grandmother was in the maze. Left me behind and left me astray. What is the truth that was going on with me? Don't be cool and just have a nice day. Some things are just easy to say. Wish you could stop me from breathing a day. Don't have no food and they swimming on me. Out in the ocean away from the bay. I've been drifting along far away. I went up in to keep them away. See what you see, but I just cannot stay. Force me to lane and they want me to drink. Can't do the crime, that don't suit me. Mine, unfortunately, and my sorrows, so many follow, sleeping in hollow, bring on the idol, listen to Carlo, nothing to borrow, living to borrow, nothing to call home, shooting a hollow, shooting a inferno, about the carnals, I'm in all your love in the eye, all known, seeing that is a pyramid, hey, they say me get, that is affirmative, I look at music biz, got the hood to the ring, let the color quiz, that's what the mission is, we are the guinea pigs, music I'm feeling it, tired of the silliness, no like I'm feeling it, feeling we're killing it, feeling it, swimming this message, off of the shore into the abyss, deep in, I'm in ocean, and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be followed. I'm out the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be followed. I'm out the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be followed. I'm out the ocean and I may be hollow.
Yes, yes, it is wonderful. It is wonderful. It is wonderful, JP. You're so right. It is wonderful to be not only black, but to be brilliant, to be black and brilliant and in unity and understand your creativity.
Works of a genie, what a fiend, take you to Feeny. How when they see me, sleazy bikinis, nothing but weenies, wearing a beanie, feeling bikini, changing the scenery, showing your misery, so many lies of me. Probably got you on TV, believe me, pulling your memories, killing the name. They never just admitted they got me. Machiavelli could have never been sloppy. We can see it's nothing but copies. Listen, cook up in that lobby. Billie Holiday just was a body. George Clinton committed them robberies. It seems he went for the lottery. This all falls in one category. We all call it a mystery. I'm the villain you all see. Like glory to those who all see. Pendergrass set up like Eddie Murphy. No car crash, they just hating on me. Gotta make it come back like Bill Cosby. Kobe Bryant playing conspiracy. Get me back for taking a knee. But they just be canning me. Like in my turban, hit when I'm swerving. Black house cursing, sipping over curving. More laceration, installation, no motivation. Straight elimination, your animation, alienation, annihilation. All for the taking, taking like taking. Open faking, let's first nation. Moving shaker, change like Raven. Say me David, had to shake 'em, moving brave on how you craving. Even Jaden save 'em, Taylor paving. Who we faking, Harry make 'em misbehaving. We the brave before we drown in the water, got a deep dive. I'm in the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be followed. I'm out the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be followed. I'm out the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be followed. I'm out the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may die. Think they don't want me to stay. There's always one who just got raised. Came from the cave, came from the bay, created the slave. Step out of water, protection is harder. Why do they bother? Go with my hands, first like a daughter. Same boat, same fate, only in slaughter. Still throw jet bro, same as a father. Justify life, why should it be harder? All my nation, make things water. See how they come, all as one. Force me to go, force me to the slum. Live up the crumb, father's hung. Blessings beyond, live as one. Betraying the nuns, speak for the young. Nobody's dumb, maybe just someone they young. Maverick approach, proof by Yojo. And the kind will grow, just as the Oko came off the old fall. E-I-E-I-O-E-O song. Turning the wheel until it's all gone. Gotta go deeper, dive with the people. Some turn lethal, neighbors is evil. Go from the right, give up the fight. No human right, kill them on sight. Many to spare, many beware. I see that I'm there, I see that I'm here. Ready with flares, calling all bad. All genders are here, we the illusion, not disappear. As hard as my chin, deep dive. I'm in the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be followed. I'm out the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be followed. I'm off the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be follow. I'm off the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may dive deep.
Yes, yes. Thank you, family, so much for coming in this evening. We're going to get started. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking today. I'm going to discuss and move right into the program, because it is a very important topic. Not only is it an important topic, but it's I want to get through the presentation so that so you guys can get it, because see, so many people have all these strange ideas. A lot of times when we're trying, in a sense, to deal with various aspects of our history, a lot of times, in a sense, we depend on Europeans. Yes, 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 we depend on Europeans. And because we depend on Europeans, we assume that everything that they write about us is the truth. That's one of the reasons that I really love what JP is doing. JP, what she's doing is that she's evaluating a lot of historical experience. She did a very good book on Black spirituality. She also did the work on the people in Southeast Asia, and this is very important, because see, we need people who are going to reevaluate much of the literature that's out there about us, and a lot of it is not really true. A lot of it does not represent our actual history. A lot of it, in a sense, is not really what really happened in history. Yes, yes, yes. We've been taught a lot of lies, and these lies, what they do is that they put us into a situation in which we continue to perpetuate these lies. And the reason we perpetuate these lies is because of the fact, in a sense, we don't know the truth. And so then I'm going to get right into this, and let's get started. It's very important to understand when you look at this introduction. What do we have? We have these Black Egyptians. Most of the time you've been taught that the Hyksos, who lived in Lower Egypt, yes, who lived in Lower Egypt, were white, but they weren't white. They weren't white. And this is very important that we understand this, because see, we have to stop people teaching these lies. I want you to go to my Patreon to see the slides. Once I'm through with this presentation, I'm going to put my slides in Patreon. Please join my Patreon. This presentation is, I know this is a presentation that I'm doing because one of my supporters in Patreon asked me to really do a little bit more examination of the Hyksos and their culture and their civilization. And that's why I'm doing this presentation. It's based upon a suggestion from a member in my Patreon. Please join my Patreon. It's my Patreon members that allow me to have the finances to get new and recent studies that appear. It allows me to buy the latest books, and this is very, very important, because you can't imagine that these books can cost a lot of money. I wanted to do some research on the Garma. That was the civilization in Libya, and I had to buy this book, and it was over $100. Yes, over $100. But the thing is this: I was able to buy that book because of the fact of my Patreon members. Please join my Patreon, support me. You're here on my YouTube site. If you notice, I've got over 300, and it's almost 400, but I got over 350 videos that deal with nothing but Afrocentric history, Black history, all the way on every topic that's related to Black history. Some of these videos I've had this site, I think, for about 14 years, something like that. So I've got a lot of videos here. Don't just come and look and listen to my lives. Come back to this channel. Look at my YouTube videos. Support my videos so that I can make more, and put the like down right now. Come on, touch that like button. Come on, touch it. It won't hurt you. Touch that like button and subscribe. You can order my books at Amazon.com. Let the researcher do the research. Yes, let the researcher do the research. But how can you become a researcher? You know, you can get my book, Pathfinder, Clyde Winters in Search of the Roots of Afrocentrism, a memoir. In this book, I tell you how I became an Afrocentric researcher. It was kind of hard. I'm not going to tell you a lie. It was really hard to become an Afrocentric researcher because I didn't have a model. They didn't teach Afrocentric history at university, as you might imagine. So, okay, I got 2 masters, a PhD, all that meso. But the point is this, is that I had to learn how to do this research by reading the research of our master historians, our master researchers, W.B. Du Bois, you know, Carter G. Woodson, you know, John George Jackson. You know, I had to read these people, and from reading their books, I was able, in a sense, to develop a methodology to study Afrocentric history. If you get my book, Pathfinder, Clyde Winters in Search of the Roots of Afrocentrism, a memoir, I explained to you how I went through that process. And I can give you, in a sense, the model that can allow you to become researchers and do the research, you know, do the research. You got to be like Jada, JP. You got to be like her, Prasad, because what Jada's done is that Jada is doing the original research. I'm so proud of this young lady. I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of her. Every time I look up, you know, she's written 2 books already. 2, not 1, 2. Damn. I'm going to tell you, family, I'm quite sure that I've written 50 books, but I think she's going to do 60, 70. What? Maybe 100. Because, see, that's what I love. Get my book, Pathfinder, Clyde Winters in Search of the Roots of Afrocentrism, a memoir. Can help you, too, to be a researcher. Get my other book, Afrocentric Researcher. I teach a research class. This research class is 15 weeks. 15 weeks. So, you know, I've had a lot of people go through this research class, and they're writing books today. They're writing articles. You know, Sister Shanice, B-Man, other people, you know, and they're doing this research. And then Yoshima making videos, all that type of great stuff. And this is because of the fact that they took my research course, and JP, just from JP listening to these lectures every week. And she's been a faithful listener. She's been a great supporter. And she's always been in the chat ever since I started with Reverend Matthews. Yes, over 3 years ago. But you get this book, Afrocentric Researcher. It's a guide to study social science research methods. It can help any one of you to be a great researcher. And the thing that makes it so beautiful is that you do not have to go to university. See? And then I've heard people, go to a university. Most universities do not teach good research classes. Most universities do not teach good research classes. They think a good research class is teaching you statistics. See? Yes, only teaching you statistics. They feel that that's enough. You see? But if you get my book, Afrocentric Researcher, you'll learn qualitative and quantitative research methods. I taught research at Governor State University for over 11 and a half years. You know, I taught in the graduate program, and everybody, at least during my first 7 years, I was the only person teaching research at Governor State University. And just about everybody that got a master's degree during that period had to take my research course. So I do have a great background in research. Get this book, Afrocentric Research, and I do the research. And when I start a new course, a new Afrocentric Researcher course, take my course, join me, and get some of the basics. If you want to find out more about you know, the Kushites and what we're going to talk about today, get my book, Ancient African History Primer. It deals, in a sense, with ancient African history. Get my book, The World History of the Black Race. This book is a survey book. This book discusses every Black civilization that ever existed on the planet Earth that I know of. You know, Nile Valley History and the Rig Veda. In this book, I explain to you, in a sense, how much of what you think is really related to Indian civilization, Mahabharata, the Ramayana. These books, in a sense, are not about ancient India. They're about the Nile Valley. Get my book, Nile Valley History and the Rig Veda, and you'll know. And then if you want to know more about the Kushites, get my book, The Kushites, Who, what, when, where. This is the only book, I repeat, the only book where you're going to find out any information about the Kushites, the real Kushites. When they talk about the Kushites, they may do a little bit about the Meroitic Empire, a little bit about Karma, but I talk about, in a sense, ancient Sumer. I talk about, in a sense, the Kerma, the various Nubian Kushite civilizations. I talk about the Kushites not only in Africa, but the Kushites in Asia. Get my book, The Kushites, Who, What, When, Where. Buy my books, and you can order all my books on Amazon.com. Come on, be supportive. What is FBA? FBA is not a group. FBA is not an organization. FBA is a lineage, remember. A lineage is lineal descent from an ancestry, or pedigree. As a result, we are descendants of the African, Black Irish, and Aboriginal Blacks who built the United States. Here we went through an ethnogenesis that combined all of these knowledges, all of this genetic memory that comes from 3 different ethnic groups, 3 different continents, America, Europe, and Africa. And we put it all together. And that's why today world culture is based upon FBA culture. World music is based upon FBA music. We dominate. And why do we dominate? Because we're not from just one group. We're not from just 2 groups. We're from 3 groups. And through an ethnogenesis, we became, in a sense, the greatest people in the history of the world. I'm going to tell you something. We are the new Egyptians. Because just like ancient Egypt was a confederation of many African groups that brought all of this African genius to the world, FBA, in a sense, we're the creation. We're from an ethnogenesis of 3 ethnic groups from Europe, America, and Africa. And we got all of this knowledge, all of these memories, and we're able to take these memories and we're able to dominate the world. The entire world culture is based upon us. There would be no music without us. There would be no civilization without us. Electricity, the telephone, the machines, working off of the fact that it was foundational Black Americans that made, in a sense, Elijah McCoy. He made it so the machines wouldn't burn up with his oiling mechanism. Granville T. Woods with the telephone and setting up the electric system. Remember, he did the first electric train. It was from that brother, baby. He wrote the first book on electricity. And Granville T. Woods, what he did with the telephone. And since then, we made the cell phone. We made the computer programs. We made the computer work. We're on the computer only because of a brother, baby. A brother, baby. FBA. All the way. B1 is acknowledging your Black African ancestry, not heritage. We must be race men and women proud of our culture and African Black ancestry. Black equal brilliant. To be B1, you're Black first. To be B1, you're brilliant first. To be Black, to be B1, you're Black and you're brilliant. Yes. You're Black and you're brilliant. Hyksos, the first Kushite dynasty of Lower Egypt. Yes, the Hyksos were the first Kushite dynasty of Egypt. Yes. But they don't tell you that. They want to make you believe, in a sense, that the Hyksos were white. But what we're going to do in this presentation, we're going to look at Lower Egypt, how it was colonized by Indian culture, which goes back to Kushites. We're going to show how the Amu, they're not the Hakakasut. And then we're going to go through this whole idea. No. You've been taught that the Hyksos were some Asiatic people, probably some Jews. And they taught you this lie that these Jews, in a sense, came into Lower Egypt as the Hyksos, and then they took over the country. That is a lie. The Hyksos were not white Jews. The Hyksos were not white, period. The Hyksos were Black people. They were Egyptians just like you. But Hyksos did not mean that they were Asians. Hyksos was the name Hyksos. It was the name of the ancient Kushites, the original name of Kushites. You know, it's almost like you know we're looking through a window, and when we look through this window, we're supposed to have these Europeans, and these Europeans, they've written all these books, and they tell you all about our so-called history. When they're not, they're dumb, they're dunce. They need to wear dunce caps. You see, they yes, they're in the house. Yes, they've got the books. They've written the books. Yes, they teach the courses, but what they teach is a lie, and they're afraid of you. They're afraid of us. They're afraid of me because they don't want you to know the truth. They always want you to be outside looking in. Yes, yes, yes. They want you to be outside looking in, thinking that they're the only ones in a sense who can teach you your history. They're the only ones who can teach you that everything great that ever existed on the planet Earth was done by white folks. They don't want you to know, in a sense, about your history. They don't want you to know about your civilization, but that's why I'm here. We got to stop looking in through the window, grinning, waiting for the Europeans to tell us a lie, waiting for the Europeans to tell us that 3 + 2 is 6, waiting for the European to tell us, in a sense, that every civilization was founded by whites, when that's a lie, a lie, a lie. They may be in the universities. They may write most of the books, but you too can write the books. You too can write the real history. JP, Jada. Thank you, Jada. Thank you, Jada. Thank you, Jada. Because you've heard my clarion call. When I first started talking with Reverend Dr. Matthews, I used to always, in a sense, say, family, please come out here. I'm only one person. I need your help to tell the truth. I need your help to write our history. And now I got brothers and sisters out there writing these books, writing these articles. And I'm so proud. Thank you, Jada. Martin Burnell, he began this whole idea when he wrote Black Athena. Yeah, they've always been teaching that the Hyksos were white, but see what they did with Martin Burnell when he wrote Black Athena. This is the French invasion, les racines afro-asiatiques de la civilisation classique. In other words, Black Athena, the Afro-Asiatic civilization, classic civilization, was Black Athena. This is Martin Burnell. Martin Burnell, he wrote this book, and a whole lot of Black people got so excited. Oh, you know, the white man is talking about, you know, the Hyksos. He's talking about the Black Athena. But you didn't. If you read the book, what he was saying in there is that the Hyksos were white Jews like him. When Martin Burnell wrote Black Athena, I saw a video the other day that some Black person wrote about Black Athena, how great it was. No, it wasn't great. It was just another lie. It was just another lie, saying that the Hyksos, he was saying that they were white and that they were Jewish just like him. I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm not against anybody. But the fact is this, the Hyksos were not Asians. They were not Amu. They were not Jews. They were Black, like me. They were Black, like you. They were Black, like us. Obinga made it clear that Afro-Asiatic does not exist, and you cannot reconstruct a proto-language. In linguistics, let me explain to you. In linguistics, if there's a family relationship between languages, you have to try to, in a sense, find the mother language. Okay. To find the mother language, you compare all of the members of that group, and then you try to, in a sense, determine the proto-language. And then, in a sense, once you determine the proto-language, this proto-language indicates that the languages are related, you see. But Obinga made it clear that Afro-Asiatic does not exist and that you cannot reconstruct the proto-language. This is true. Egbert in 1995 and Orel Stolbova in 1995 were attempting to compare Afro-Asiatic. The most interesting fact about these works is that they produce different results. Think about it, family. If Afroasiatic really existed, they should have arrived at similar results, but they didn't find similar results. The major failure of these works is that there is too much synonymy. For example, the Proto-Afroasiatic synonym for bird has 52 synonyms. 52 synonyms. This is far too many for a single term and illustrates how the researchers just correlated a number of languages to produce a protoform. So Afroasiatic does not exist, you see. So when they try to tell you that the Hyksos civilization was an Afroasiatic civilization, a civilization that was created by the Amu, and that these were ancient Jews, they're lying. They're lying. There's no such thing as an Afrocentric, Afroasiatic language family. Sometimes it's referred to as a Frasian. No, they don't exist. And this is very important to understand. Both our sources reconstruct lexical relationships. They have the books on the left-hand side. Both sources reconstruct lexical relationships in the attested languages as going back to derivational relationships in the proto-language. In at least one case, they also reconstruct the deviational relationship in Arabic, singular plural pair, harayatun, as going back to lexical ones in Proto-Asiatic reconstruction. But it's not good because, see, they can't reconstruction. Every time they do a reconstruction, the reconstructions go to ancient Semitic. So in a sense, when they're talking about Afroasiatic, since most of the synonyms always go back to ancient Semitic, there's no such language. There's no such language, And as a result, there's no such thing as an Afroasiatic language. But Anti-Diop, he also thought the Hyksos were in a sense, maybe Amu or white people, But see, we know that this isn't true because we know that Narmer, he was the first one to use the word Hyksos, which means Kushite, when he conquered the Levant, you see. But see, we also have research that's beginning to come out now that shows that the Hyksos were never invaded, and that Hyksos were not foreign people; they were local people. You see, some of the research by C. Stantis, he wrote in a paper, and he presented it in 2019. And in this paper, what he showed is this: he showed that the tombs with non-Upper Egyptian customs were especially intriguing. Typically, males buried with bronze weaponry, but the thing about it is that everything buried with them was mainly, in a sense, things that relate to ancient Egypt, you see? Ancient Egypt. And that these people were not, in a sense, foreigners. They were, in fact, native to the area, They found, in a sense, they did a study of the strontium. Strontium enters the body primarily through the food we eat. And Stantis said, and I quote, it readily replaces calcium, as it's a similar atomic radius. This is the same way lead enters our skeletal system. And they found, in a sense, that the Hyksos, the skeletal remains of these people, showed that they had been local. There was never any invasion of Jews into Lower Egypt, But we know, in a sense, since Narmer's time, the people in Lower Egypt called themselves Hyksos. We know that the original name for Kush and the Kushites was not Kush, but Hyksos. And this goes back, in a sense, to Narmer's time, you see. And because it goes back to Narmer time, we find, in a sense, that given this reality, that the people in Lower Egypt, they were nothing but black people, just like the rest of the Egyptians. They were not Amu, you see. In the ancient literature, the Proto-Dravidians, Sumerians, Elamites, and etc. are called Kushites. Using boats, the Kushites moved down ancient waterways. Many now dried up to establish new towns in Asia and Europe after 3500 BC. The Kushites remained supreme around the world until 1400 to 1200 BC. During this period, the Hua, Chinese, and Indo-European speakers began to conquer the Kushites, whose cities and economies were destroyed as a result of natural catastrophes which took place on the planet between 1400 and 1200 BC. The biggest thing was the Santorini earthquake, because the Santorini earthquake, it caused a decline in just about all the black civilizations, not only in the Mediterranean, but all the way into Central Asia. Yes, yes, yes. It was natural calamities that weakened these founders of black civilization and allowed Europeans to be able, in a sense, to conquer them. You have to understand, in the sense of that. That's one of the reasons why we find that originally the Kushite nations were all over, in a sense. They were all over, in a sense, North Africa and Asia. And these were the Kushites, you see. But they had to lie. That's why sometimes, people always talk about the Bible, but I wonder about the Bible. I wonder about the Bible. The Bible teaches us, in a sense, that woman was created from the man's rib. That is stupid. That is the most stupidest thing that you could ever say, because men do not produce children today. They don't have babies. Only women have babies. So logically, if only women have babies, then the first creation of God had to have been what? A black woman. But that's just to show you how Europeans lie to you. That's just to show you how Europeans, in a sense, want to, in a sense, keep you away. You see, because the Europeans understand. Europeans understand that the black woman, yes, you, sister, you're not just the mother of civilization, you are civilization. It's through you that we obtain the creativity, that we obtain, in a sense, the knowledge to be able to be the first, you see. Women were the first scientists. Dr. Winters, will you stop teaching that ish? It's not ish. It's the truth. We know that women began agriculture. We know that women, in a sense, they were the first astronomers. They studied the stars, and they studied the stars so they could make calendars, so they could know when we could have sexual intercourse. Because they bled once a month. Yes. Yes. The female bled once a month. The man was a hunter. As a hunter, we understood that if you shoot an animal with your arrow, if you hit an animal with your spear, that animal will bleed and that animal will die as a result of losing the blood. But the female, the woman, she bled once a month, but she did not die. She did not die. She did not die. And so, I'll stop stuttering, please, Dr. Winters. And so, black women, they were the first symbols of death and resurrection, because they died every month and then they were born again. They were recognized as fertility because it was through them that we had our children. It was through them, yes, through them, that we had agriculture. Because it was the women, in a sense, who first tilled the land and found the plants that we could eat. They were the ones who suggested to their men, go out and hunt, bring us some meat, and we'll make us a fine stew. It was the women who made the baskets in the beginning that we cooked the stew in, and later the pots that they made. Yes, 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 yes. Do you understand? Do you understand now why they want to separate the black man from his woman? They want to separate the black woman from the black man because it's through our women. It's through our women that all civilization is founded. She's not the mother, she's just not the mother of mankind, she's the mother of civilization. And see, that's why we have to work together as a unit. As a unit. As a unit. Look at this picture. Look at these wonder makers. But you don't see just black women. You see black men and black women together. And that's why we have to be together. It's by being together, in a sense, that we can create and we can make anything exist that we wish. It's through the black woman that anything. See, it's through the black woman that the invisible becomes visible. It's through the black woman that the material becomes useful. It's through the black woman, in a sense, that you gain your essence, you gain your power. Because it's through her, in a sense, that you gain civilization, you gain science, you gain knowledge. See? But it's all because the Black woman loves you. It's all because the Black woman, in a sense, wants to adore you. And it's all because the Black woman wants you to have everything that you want. But we fight it. We run away from it. We don't know it. The Unanians were members of the Capsian population. Yes. The first Kushites were bowmen. They belonged to what was called the ancient Unanian culture. Check it out. There was continuity between the populations in the Maghreb and southern Sahara, referred to as Capsians, Ibero-Maurusians, and Mechtoids. The Niger-Congo speakers are descendants of the Caspian population. The Capsian people did not only live in Africa, they were also present in South Asia. Yes, stop it. Just because the Dravidians have straight hair, you say, oh, they can't be Black. Why not? The Australians have straight hair too. There's many African groups today that have straight hair. Today, still in Cameroon, they speak Tamil, which is a Dravidian language. Don't get it twisted, Captain. Don't get it twisted. We're one people. We're Black people. The Egyptians, in a sense, they knew that the ancient Hyksos, they knew in a sense that the Kushites, they lived in the fertile highlands of the African Sahara. As a result, in a sense, they used these symbols. This is the sign N25, and it represents, in a sense, mountains. But they usually put these three signs together, and this means Kush or Hush or Kush. Yes. It was because of the fact that the ancient Kushites lived in the highland region. And the Winnie inscription makes it clear that the name Hus was made up of three N25 signs from Gardner's list of Egyptian signs, you see. This means the N25 sign represented hush. You see, hush. That's no name for Kushite. As you can see, we see the Heka, you see the crook, that means Heka, and then we see the kings, Heka, the kings of Kush. See the symbol, the Egyptian symbol for kings, and then we see the three hills going from left to right, and this is Haka Hasut, the kings of Kush. Egyptian literature supports the archaeological evidence that the Hyksos were native to Lower Egypt. Thus, the inscription in Winnie line 26 reads, "His Majesty made war on the Asiatic sand dwellers, and His Majesty made an army of many tens of thousands in the entire south, southward to Levantine, and northward to Aphroditopolis, Busiris, in the northland on both sides. He wanted to conquer who? He wanted to conquer the Haka, the Mazui Haka Hasut, the Yam Haka Hasut. You see? And then he said that Temeh, the land of Temeh, Lower Egypt, was also Heka Hasut. Very important to understand this. Francis Llewellyn Griffin translated the inscription of the Una. Griffin translated the word Nihisse as Negro. Una listed the Kushite dynasties in the Winnie inscriptions as follows. When His Majesty chastised the Amu Hurusha, and His Majesty made an army of many tens of thousands out of the whole of the upper country, from Abu in the south to Aphroditopolis in the north, and out of the lower country, and from the whole of the two sides, you see, he went to Scissor and fight the Negroes from Meza, the Negroes from the Negroes from Wawat, the Negroes from Kao. In other words, in a sense, he just, instead of saying Nihisi or saying Hagakos, he just referred to Negro. It was this whole idea. See, the Europeans, they wanted to try to create a division. You see, all the evidence showed that the ancient Egyptians and the Kushites were all black people, what they would have called Negro people. See, but they didn't want to let that out. No, 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 no. They did not. They did not want to. And so these people, Francis Llewellyn Griffin and other people, what they were able to do is that they were able to for people to be able to look at an Egyptian artifact, to look at a black Egyptian, and in their mind don't see a black person, but visualize that black person as a Caucasian. Yes, yes. I know you say that that's crazy, but that's what they did. Because there was no difference between the Hyksos, the Kushites, and the Egyptians. They're all black. But they were able, in a sense, to fixate in your mind that you weren't really seeing black people. You're seeing dark-skinned whites. Yes, yes. There are other published papers that support the standards research. The latest research on the Hyksos indicate that there was no invasion of Lower Egypt. The Hyksos were already living in Lower Egypt. They weren't Jews. They weren't Jews. No. Bruce Bauer, 2019, admits that there are no places in Lower Egypt that indicates any battles being fought in the region before and during the Hyksos period. Moreover, the archaeological evidence makes it clear that the Lower Egyptian and people in Libya and the Middle East practice the same culture. They also had strong relations with the Kushites in Nubia. This is not surprising because Lower Egypt, Libya, and the Levant made up Temeh, which since the Una inscriptions dating to the Old Kingdom, that's right, dating to the whole kingdom, were called Hyksos. See? Hyksos. These people have been lying to you. They've been lying to you. The Hyksos, they were called Hyksos, which meant Kush. Yes, the people in Lower Egypt, Temeh, were Kushites. See, you know, the Kushites spread cultivation of millet and cattle herding throughout Anatolia, South Asia, and Europe. As cattle herding Kushites frequently moved from place to place, they did millet. The reason they like millet is that millet is easy to grow. It has a high yield per grain, and most importantly, the growing season for millet wasn't that long, and as a result, you could be an agro-pastoralist. An agro-pastoralist meant that you could grow crops and you could still herd animals because, see, as you move from place to place to make sure, in a sense, that your herds had the feed to be able to survive, the cultivation of millet gave you that opportunity, gave you that ability to be able, in a sense, to grow a fine crop and be able to make the grains so that you could have the food to eat. This is very important to Kushite civilization, you see. The present numbers Hust, or Hasta, Bula indicates that since the Levant was called Hust, or Kush, since Narmer ruled the area, he was probably a Kushite. Yes, even Narmer. Minis, the person who united Egypt, he was also a Kushite. Yes, yes, yes. The Europeans won't tell you that. The Europeans say, oh, he was just an Egyptian. He was an Egyptian, but he called his name. He recognized himself as belonging to the Hyksos, that he was a Kushite. You know, writing just Hyksos means Kushite, kings, or adding 3 lines make the plural Kushites. Thusly, on the Sekhem and other scrolls, we see this thing. There is epigraphic evidence that indicates that Narmer the Great, Narmer, who in a sense united the kingdoms in the Nile Valley and the Levant, he called himself Hus. He was a Kushite. Stop it. Stop believing that lie, you see? And how do we know this? Because we have the evidence. We have a bulla. Look on the right hand, look on the left-hand side. They found a bulla at Nahal Tilah in the Levant. And this bulla has Hux. There it is. See, on the left-hand side, you see Narmer. Then you see, in a sense, the inscription that says Hast, Kush, Hasti, and Kushite. Yes. The Nahal Tilah bulla has Hast and Hasti. See? And so when the Hyksos was calling themselves, in a sense, Heka House, they were, in a sense, saying that they were the kings of the Kushites. And we find, in a sense, that the first king the first king of Egypt, the first uniter of Upper and Lower Egypt. Nama also referred to himself as a Kush or a Kushite. See? Very important to understand, And that's why, in a sense, we find this writing. We find, in a sense, that every Nehisu in Urjit, Wawat, Saju, Yam, Kau, Ahi, Masit, Medjet, and Meteri, all of these, they were called, in a sense, Nehisu. And Nehisu, in a sense, just meant, in a sense, that's what they called. They called, in a sense, the Kushites. The Kushites were either called Has in Lower Egypt, or they were called Nehisu in Kush proper. See? Yes. Stop it. We have to go. Family, we have to go back and we have to look at many of these ancient Egyptian inscriptions. We had to do a reinterpretation of these inscriptions. We had to retranslate these inscriptions because the Europeans have taught us lies. When they talk to you about the Hyksos, and the Hyksos being Jews, being white people, see, being Asians, they're lying to you. No, they were black people. They were black people, strong black people, wide shoulders black people, powerful black people. These were the people, in a sense, the Hus of Lower Egypt. They were called Kushites ever since Nama's time. I already showed you that. And that's why when we look, in a sense, when we look at various Egyptian inscriptions, here we see the inscription, and this inscription, in a sense, here we can see how even the people, you can see on the left-hand side, we see the Haka Kasut over the name of this king. You see? And we see, and when we look at, in a sense, the Winnie inscription, on line 48 announces a Haka Hasut. See? And he says that not only, in a sense, was Wawat Hasut, also Yam, Medja, and Nirjet. Yes. That's what's in this inscription. And this is the Winnie inscription. On the right hand, on the left hand side, we can see, in a sense, Heka Kasut in front of King Abishari. And then we can look on the left hand side. We look on the right hand side, and we see the Winnie inscription. And we see these same inscriptions. We see these same symbols for Heka Hasut. You see? Yes. We've been lied to. The Hyksos were not white. The Hyksos were not Jews. The Hyksos were black like you. Hyksos were black like me. But they were Kushites. See? We know, in a sense, that during the 18th dynasty, instead of calling the Kushite Hats, we called them Kush. And this is where we see the first mention of the Kush. And this, in a sense, really came from the 18th dynasty, you see. But many of the kingdoms that belonged to Kush proper, you see, were called Nehissi. The people were called Nehissi. And there was these Nehissi, in a sense, who formed these Kushite kingdoms to the south, where it was the Hus Kushites in Lower Egypt, in a sense, who formed the Egypt and what we would call, in a sense, North Egypt, because Lower Egypt is in the north, Upper Egypt is in the south. But because of the fact that they were coming from the south and going in a sense north, then they called, in a sense, Temeh Lower Egypt. You see, the presence of this bull indicates that since this area was called Hust, since Nama ruled the area, the modern interpretation of Hust, Kush, has to be Hust. You see, and so then we know, in a sense, that if Nama was a Kushite, and he was the first, and he was the first one, in a sense, to leave from Lower Egypt and conquer the rest of the area, they were all Kushites. Yes, everybody's Kushite, but it's really, you could understand this when you think about the fact that originally Tarseti was supposed to be a part of Kush. Although Tarseti was supposed to be a part of Kush, we know that the first nome the first nome, in a sense, of Egypt was Taseti. So that shows, in a sense, that Egypt, in a sense, that the Egyptians were originally Kushites, but then later they didn't want to be Kushites. They wanted to be called Comedians, the black people, the Kametru, see. And so when we look at, in a sense, the Hyksos, when we look at the Hyksos takeover of Egypt during the Hyksos period, what we're really seeing is that we're seeing that the people in Lower Egypt, they were trying to return to their Kushite origins, and they wanted to be recognized as Kushites instead of Comedians, and even some of the kings at that time, like Seti I came from Lower Egypt. See, and Seti is what? Seti is supposed to be the god of the people of Hyksos, one of their gods, Set. And then Seti I, he came from Lower Egypt, but in a sense, he was fighting to return, in a sense, Lower Egypt or Temeh to the Kemet Confederacy. Very important to understand is that, so we see there was always this conflict. There was always this conflict, in a sense, that was this conflict between the Egyptians wanting to be Kushites or being, in a sense, Comedians, you see. I think that the Dorvel, he believes, in a sense, that Kush, I think he believes that it stands for leopard or feline. So it's kind of very deep. But again, in a sense, we do know that Narmer was the first one to use the word Hus, or Kush. He was the first one to use it. And he was the first one to use this 3,000, over 3,200 years ago. In fact, this is what he called the Levant. So we see that the Kushites not only lived in Kush, or Nubia, they also lived in Lower Egypt. Very important to remember, very important to understand. That's why we see this sign, Heka Hasut. We see Heka Hasut. We see this not only, in a sense, we not only see the Heka Hasut in the later inscriptions of the Hyksos, we also see this, in a sense, on the Nahal Tilla Bula. See, and these are some of the ways that Heka Has was written by the various Hyksos kings, pharaohs. And if you remember, that's one of the reasons why, if you really read the literature, you can find that the Nehisi, or the Kushites in Kush, were united with, in a sense, the Hyksos kings, and that they really were working together, you see. So but I wish I could find a document. Maybe one day, maybe you or somebody else might find a document. I really want to get an understanding why the Comedians didn't want to be called Kushites, but the Kushites love being called Kushites, and this is one of the reasons why we see that the people in Lower Egypt, in a sense, wanted to return to this symbolism. But again, I know it's got to be an inscription. The Egyptians wrote a lot of inscriptions, so there has to be an inscription somewhere that can explain this dichotomy and why people, in the sense, we were constantly having this conflict between Lower Egypt being recognized as Hush or Kush, or Comedian. Again, here we can see Heka Kasut Abishar. In this particular picture, we see that this is one of the leaders in the area, and we can see the Heka Kasut up at the top, and they're under this animal. We can see, in a sense, his name Abishar. They translate it as Abishari. It's Absha. They say Abishari. We see Heka Kasut and Abishar at the bottom. Here's some more Heka signs, and these are signs. This is Heka Kasut, and these were some of the inscriptions that the various Hyksos kings left, and this is how they would write Hasut, Heka Hasut, on their inscriptions. You can see the crook, and you can see, in a sense, the mountain, the three mountain signs, which are representative of what's called N25 from Gardner's dictionary that we call Kush today, was originally, in a sense, hush, Heka hush. That's how we get the word Hasut, Hyksos. Hyksos kings were proud of their Kushite origin. In the Hyksos seals, the kings wrote their names followed by the Heka Has, kings of the Kushites. These sealings are primary contemporaneous ancient Egyptian literature documentation, indicating that the Hyksos used the name to illustrate their Kushite ancestry and relationship to the Nubian kings. Yes, the Nubian Kushites. Egyptian Has corresponds to Hyksos or Kaska, the name of the Hadeans. The Egyptian term Hasut has three different elements: the ethnonym Hast, the U, Has, and the T, the plural marker. The Turin royal canon, where the Hyksos were styled Heka Hasut, the same name they called the other Kushites in Nubia during the Old Kingdom. During the New Kingdom, the Kushites were still being called Hash, the same name as the Hadeans called themselves, i.e. Kashka, Kash. You see, here's the Egyptian king Nehesi. You know, his name means Nubian, and he was an Egyptian pharaoh of the 13th dynasty. The Hyksos ruled from 1650 to 1550. The New Kingdom lasted from 1549 to 1292 BC. During the New Kingdom, the Egyptians used the name Amu, as a generic name for the Asian. The term Habiru was an ethnonym for one of the Asian tribes. It is clear that the Habiru and Heka Hasut were the same people. They would have had the same name, given the fact that the New Kingdom began at the end of the Heka Hasut dynasty. Very important to understand. That's why I don't get it twisted. You see, the Hyksos, they were, in a sense, they were still Egyptians. They were still black people. They weren't white. They just wanted to be recognized as Kushites instead of Comedians. Go figure. Apophis maintained the traditions of the Egyptians during his rule. He is credited with encouraging his scribes to copy priceless Egyptian texts, including the Edwin Smith Surgical Papyrus, the oldest known surgical handbook, the Rhine Mathematical Papyrus, which explains Egyptian mathematical theory, and the Westcott Papyrus. These texts would have been lost to mankind except for the foresight of the pharaoh Apophis, who was an Hyksos king. The Kushites lived in Wawad, Yam, Tasseti, etc., and in Lower Egypt since Namar's day, as proven by the term Hast, or the Nahul Tila Bula, the Una Winnie inscription, and the Hyksos king seals and scarabs. Yes. King Narmer, he was a Haka Hasut. And King Apophis, he was also a Haka Hasut. In other words, they were both kings of the Kushites. Don't get it twisted. The Hyksos were Kushites. They were not white. Okay, here's the references. You can check out these references. You can find them on the slides, which will be deposited in my Patreon, and you can just slow down and copy. You can copy down the various references right here if you wish. If you want to find out more about the Haka Hasuts, get the Kushites, who, what, when, where. If you want to find out more about the Haka Hasuts, and also how the Nile Valley was really in a sense is represented in the various Indian literatures, the Rig Veda, the Mahabharata, the Ramayana. Get my book, Nile Valley History and the Rig Veda. This explains to you how the Dravidian people, yes, the Dravidian people, the Tamil people like Kamala Harris, like JP, you see, that they originally lived in the Nile Valley, and they migrated from the Nile Valley to form civilization in India. That's why the languages are genetically related. Get my book, Nile Valley History and the Rig Veda. Learn more about the Hyksos. If you want to learn more about, in a sense, the various Kushite nations, get my book, The World History of the Black Race. In this book, it'll tell you about all the various Black civilizations throughout, in a sense, the world. Get my books. You can go to Patreon to see the slides. Please join my Patreon, please. I need your help, you see. I need your help to keep allowing me to be able, in a sense, to get information. Much of the information, the latest information, is usually contained in research articles and in books and in maybe even newspapers. And these research articles are behind a paywall. Sometimes it costs as much as $100 just to read a book, read an article for a day. So I can do this research. I can keep bringing you these various historical documents every Thursday because I'm supported by my Patreon. Join my Patreon. Support me. It's only $5. It's only $5 a month. $5 a month. That's less than a coffee at Starbucks. Join my Patreon. Support me. Help me to keep doing this research and bringing to you all of this information. You can you're on my YouTube channel. Please not only join me for my lives, come back. I got all these videos here on history. You can set up your own program. In fact, if you join my Patreon, I've got in there research guides that allow you to establish various research agendas based upon a series of videos. I've got movie guides in there that can help you to construct a way that you can learn the ancient history of Black people all around the world just by looking at my various videos that are on this channel. Check out these videos. Don't just come here for my lives. I've got many books on ancient history. You can order my books at Amazon.com. Please support me. Please support my slides. Please, right now, before you forget, touch that like button. Come on, just go ahead, press that like button and subscribe. You see, you can order my books at Amazon.com. What I want you to do is this. If you got any comments or you got any questions, please put them in the comment section. What do you think about this article? What do you think about what I wrote? What more would you like to know? Please put that in the comments, and I will get back to you. I will refer back to you in the comments. Let the researcher do the research. If you want, as I said before, my book, Pathfinder, Clyde Winters in Search of the Roots of Afrocentrism, a memoir. In this book, I explain how I became a researcher, and it can help you to be able, in a sense, to see how you can become a researcher too. You can get my book, Afrocentric Researcher, a guide to study social science research methods. I use the Afrocentric Researcher book in my class. My research class is 15 weeks, and I've had many people take this class, and many of these people today are writing books, they're writing articles, and they're doing other great things related to Afrocentric research. So please, in a sense, get these books if you're interested in being a researcher. And when I announce my research course, come on, join it. It's only 15 weeks. Again, if you want to find out more about the various Black civilizations around the world, get the World History of the Black Race. If you want to find out about Blacks in Europe, get my book, Blacks in Europe, and my other book, Manufactured Genetic Origins, the Fake Eurasian Black Migration. In this book, Manufactured Genetic Origins, what I do is that I explain in the sense that when they try to teach you that the earliest people of Europe were white, that's a lie. I explain how, in a sense, the earliest people of Europe, they first, in a sense, originated in Africa. They went, in a sense, through the Levant and the Central Asia, and then they came down from the Caucasus Mountains and they spread throughout Europe. Another group, in a sense, came up from Morocco, and they went into Iberia. And these people, in a sense, introduced the various earliest cultures there, So get this book, Manufactured Genetic Origin, the Fake Eurasian Black Migration. This book discusses, in a sense, the real prehistoric origins. The Blacks in Europe book, it discusses the prehistoric origins, but it also, in a sense, talks about the various black people who were the royals of Europe. It has a very beautiful section on the Baradanacs. The Baradanacs, that's the name of the people, in a sense, who were enslaved. Yes. The Baradanacs were enslaved in the Caribbean and in the 13 colonies, and they formed the foundation, one of the foundations of the FBA. They were the Black Irish who were sent over here as chattel slaves. Get this book, Blacks in Europe, so you can find out more about these people. Again, B1 is acknowledging your Black African ancestry and Ma'at, not heritage. We must be race men and women, proud of our culture and African Black ancestry. Remember, Black equals brilliant. So when you're B1, you're Black first. When you're B1, you're brilliant first. When you're B1, you're Black and you're brilliant. Thank you. Okay, how are you doing? I'm in Hotep. Kwame says the Hittites were in Mesopotamia before 1600 BC. Yes, they were. But as I said, the Hittites, let me explain to you. The Hittites were Indo-European speakers. The Hadeans, they were Kaskas or Kushites. It's a difference between the original Black Asian people who are called Hadeans and the Hittites. These are two different groups. Very important that you understand this. Okay. Kwame, his goals were Asiatic, not African, especially in the Delta. I've already shown that was bullshit. I already showed you in a sense is that the research shows in a sense that these people in a sense were Black, and they didn't come from that area. So the Hyksos were not the Hyksos were not Asiatics. They were in a sense Kushites. That's why they were called the Hyksos. Very important to understand that. Okay. Dorville said, Scholar Catherine Archinolo says the leopard head is one of the symbols of the Sumerian king Narmer. Some research I was able to find connects Kush with a leopard or lion, a symbol of Narmer. Again, in a sense, I looked at research. I can agree at this point, I'm a falsificationist. Because I'm a falsificationist in a sense, I had to go along with the research. If the research is in that direction, I'll have to go along with it. But again, in a sense, it does need to be clarification, JP says, get his books. That's what has helped me write my books. Yes. I'm so happy in the sense that you were able to learn from my books and be able, in a sense, to write your own books. Okay, and Dorville says, I say this because archaeology, just because they dig something up in a certain location doesn't mean it originated there. Example, museums. You're absolutely correct. But archaeology is a good way, in a sense, to understand history, because see, usually when they find artifacts, when they go through an excavation, Dorville, what they do in a sense is that they usually date. And if the earliest artifacts found in a sense in an excavation, you see, they have to, in a sense, they would show that probably that particular archaeological assemblage, that group of tools or that group of artifacts probably originated in that area. You see, this is very important to understand. Hello, does the Bantu people have 9 DNA series? Oh, that's what this brother said. You have to understand, though, is that right now we're talking basically in a sense we're talking about the Hyksos, the Kosh, the Hus, or the Kushites of Lower Egypt. Therefore, in a sense, that's one of the things that we're talking about. Suladio Limited says, what can we say about the Carnarvon tablet number 1? I'm not familiar with that. I can't really discuss it because I haven't seen it, Dorville says, great info once again, Dr. Winters, the lion slayer. Yes, you're right. I would like to be a lion slayer, but I do love the research of Dorville. I love the fact in the sense that he's the one who was the first one to bring to my attention what black men in old English and what black men in Latin, because most of the time we take black to just mean, in a sense, an adjective relating to color, and so then therefore, in a sense, therefore, it just means the black or whatever. But what Dorville found is that he was able to show me that black also means brilliant, because the fact, in the sense, is that it means brilliant because it relates in a way to this amber. It relates to these embers. Remember, one of the basic aspects of in a sense of the Egyptian symbol for Cam is, in a sense, the coal, the coal. And what makes this a very important thing to do, it's very important. He says the Carnarvon tablet puts all of this to rest. Well, I'll have to check that out, and maybe one day I'll do something on it. I'm very excited because when you think about this whole idea, is that a lot of, when you think about ancient civilizations, you want to, in a sense, understand the ancient spirituality, and Jada Prasad has written a very beautiful book on the ancient spirituality of Black people. You guys should try to buy this book.
Collected paths of ancient law, metaphysical keys to unlock the door. A book written by Jada Prasad with the guided visions of Yoshimo. Ancient Black spirituality, galactic celestial symphony, cosmic melanated energy, spirits all within me. Our history. Ancient Black spirituality, galactic celestial symphony, cosmic melanated energy, spirits all within me. Our history.
Jada Prasad, that book is fantastic. What I really liked about her book was that in her book she breaks down the Meroitic religion, which I'm going to do a whole series beginning next month. I'm going to do a whole series on the Meroitic civilization and their language. So I'm very excited about that. But try to support Jada Prasad's book, Black Spirituality. It is a great book. It is a book, in a sense, that can help you gain keen insight into our civilization. Another book you might want to get is my book. Get my book on the Black Aboriginals. And I'm very proud of my book on the culture and history of the Black Aboriginals, because it's the only book that really discusses our Aboriginal heritage. Hey, I've just written a new book, History and Culture of the Black Aboriginals of America. Yes, I've written a new book. This book is called History and Culture of Afro-Americans. It's about the Aboriginal Americans. It's about the first people who inhabited America. Many people don't know about our great culture, this super culture that we created, but I discussed this book. In 489 pages, you'll find out so much information, great information, about, in a sense, what the Aboriginal foundational Black Americans did. You're going to see, in a sense, that Black people contributed much here. When the first Europeans got here, that's what they found. Yes, they found Black Aboriginals inhabiting the Americas. It was the Black Aboriginals that built this country. This is why you had to get my book, History and Culture of the Aboriginal Blacks of the Americas. In this book, you will find out the truth. You will know what we created. You will know who we are. Get this book. Buy it now. Saludio Limited says, let me understand what this strength of mine is for. One prince is in Avaris, another in Ethiopia, And here I sit associated with an Asiatic and a Negro. No, no, you're not. They're not Asiatic. They're not Asiatic. They're not Negro. See, I think that I have a feeling that you may be, I have a feeling in a sense that you may be a troll and that you're trying in a sense to create some sort of division. But as I pointed out in this video, is that the people in a sense in Lower Egypt called themselves Has, which means Kush. They were Kushites already. Later, in a sense, we know that they became Comedians. But then when they began, in a sense, the Hus dynasty, and they were the Heka Hus, or the kings of, in a sense, that. So no, it's not anything about Asiatic and the Negro. No such thing as Asiatics. The people in Lower Egypt, and even in Canaan, even the Bible teaches that they were Hamitic. If they were Hamitic and the Egyptians were Hamitic, they weren't two different people. So stop trying, in a sense, to divide the people. Stop trying to teach this lie. I'm not going to allow you to teach this lie. You're not going to be able to say that the Hyksos were Asians when they were not Asians. They called themselves Has, Heka Has, Heka Kasuts, But again, in a sense, is that each man has a slice of Egypt dividing up the land with me. I cannot pass by him as far as Memphis, the wars of Egypt, but behold, he was Hermopolis. Yes. But again, in a sense, is that what you want to do is that, see, you're here, and I'm glad to see. I'll accept even trolls. You're here in a sense to try to maintain the legitimacy of lies that Europeans teach. You see, I've already shown you through the inscriptions, already shown you through the fact, in a sense, that the earliest example of the name Hus or Cush was made in Narmer's time. So when you're trying to, in a sense, tell the people in the chat that these people are Asiatic, stop this. You're trolling. You see? But see, the thing is, this is that I don't mind you trolls coming in here, because I'm not going to let this suffice. See? I'm not going to let this suffice, because see, I'm already shown when we go and we look, in a sense, you see, when we look at this evidence, you see, the fact remains. Yes. The fact remains. See, the fact remains is that Narmer referred to himself as a Hus, Heka Hus. And given the fact, in a sense, that Narmer, in a sense, this is it, Narmer. He's the first one to use the word Hus, and Hust, or Cush. See, so therefore, why are you trying? Why stop trolling? Stop. But I don't mind that you're here to troll. But see, that's what I'm here. I love you trolls to come around, because that's why I bring my receipts. See, I bring my receipts. Family, when you look at Narmer's on the Nahotel Abula, when you look at this, what do you see? This shows you, in a sense, that this is all bull. This is all bull. You see, and then you say, hey, then you make this thing. You say, you're saying, no, I'm asking you about legitimate artifact you already admit you don't know about. No, I don't have to know about it. I already have this artifact. And because I have this artifact, what does it show? It shows, in a sense, that Narmer called this area Hus, and that the kings, the Hyksos kings, called themselves Heka Hus, Kushites. It all shows. See, it shows, in a sense, Suladio Limited. It shows that you're a troll. You see, it shows that you're a troll. You're here, in a sense, trying to maintain some sort of lie. You're here, in a sense, to try to make black people believe that they can trust everything that white people do. No. Here's the artifacts. The artifacts come from Nahol Tila. This Bula shows, in a sense, Hakahasut. See, family. This troll, he came here, in a sense, to be deceptive. He came here to be deceptive, and he came here in a sense to try to get you to believe that you can trust everything everything that Europeans teach you. He wants you to believe that these were Asiatic. No. These white researchers, they created this mythology. They created this mythology in a sense, you know. You know, and JP says, what is the point of coming on here just to argue? Don't watch if you don't like the facts. Well, the point is this, is that it's not just that, is that they have to, in a sense. They have to troll. You have to understand that, JP, you have to understand that Europeans go everywhere, you see. They go everywhere. And because they go everywhere, they're always looking at us. They're always observing us. They're always trying to decide us because they want to stir up this unity. You know, here we got, look at this. He says, I'm asking you a question about an artifact that you've never heard of. It's not that you're asking me about an artifact I've never heard of. I've already given you the receipts. Here's the receipts. Here's the oldest artifact that shows that the original word for Kush was Kosh, and that the Hyksos, or the kings of Lower Egypt, in a sense, they were Comedians. I mean, they were Kushites that later became Comedians, and then in the Hyksos period, they want to return, you know. You see? And so then, I mean, hey, but I don't mind. You see, this is what some of you don't understand, is that I've been on the internet. I've been on the internet in a sense since the early 80s. And that's one of the reasons why Europeans hate me. And that Europeans hate me, and Europeans hate my research because I bring the receipts. And this is the thing, in a sense, that you have to understand, you know. Like Joan says, Soldado Limited, if you can't be respectful, find the door, of course, find the door. But the thing is this, is that it's very important that you understand, is that they're here. But see, the point is this, is that you don't run away from them. You don't run away from them. I've been on the internet since the 1990s. You can look at it. If you look on this site, some of my videos I've been making videos and putting them online for over 14 years now. Because see, it's about the truth. It's about, in a sense, understanding that there's a white narrative and there's a non-narrative. What I mean by a non-narrative is that we just totally accept whatever Europeans write. And because of the fact that we accept whatever Europeans write, then therefore, in a sense, we allow ourselves to be sucked in to lies, you see. And that's why I come every Thursday. I come every Thursday, you see. I come every Thursday. I try to bring my receipts. I've shown you, in a sense, these documents from the Levant. They go back thousands of years before, in a sense, the 18th dynasty talked about the Kushites. I've shown you how the Una inscription, or the inscription from Winnie talks about the Has, the Hyksos, and how this is the thing. But see, what you have to do is that you have to make sure, in a sense, that you go and you check what these people are trying to teach you, because a lot of times they're trying, in a sense, to lead us down a path that can only lead us to misery. They can only lead us to ignorance, and that's very important. I want to thank everybody for coming this evening, and very important. And I'm so proud of JP, Jada, and her sister, and the things they're doing. But I want the rest of you, I want the rest of you, family, share with us your research. If you do any research, I'm going to promote your research. And this is very important. Support Yoshimad and his research, because Yoshimad is doing great things. Support him and his research. Go to his site. Okay. Solodio Limited says, I'm not even white, laughing out loud. You don't have to be white. And you can be black, but you can be misinformed. That's one of the reasons why I didn't block you. I didn't push you out of the chat. I just want, in a sense, people to understand that it's very important, in a sense, that you do the research. And see, that's one of the reasons why I try to bring receipts. I thank you guys for coming, and I hope, in a sense, that you will always be supportive, and I hope that you'll join me next week. But see, remember, if you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do.
If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. Empire State Parade on your future. Stay away, Vampire State Pride on your fears, control your atmosphere. Don't let them take your energy. Don't let them suck control your atmosphere. I am you, control your atmosphere. Don't let them take your energy. Don't let them suck your energy. It's a distraction away from me. I am you and you are me. If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. Don't follow. I said nobody but yourself. Don't follow. Nobody but yourself. Don't follow yourself. Nobody. Yourself. Nobody but yourself.
Yes. Saludio, you are a troll, because I think you are a troll. Because I think that what you said was unnecessary, and maybe you can say it was unwarranted, but I think it was warranted. I think it was warranted. Because see, the thing is this, is that sometimes you can have black people. You can have black people who can be just as hateful and just as, in a sense, people who want to keep other black people ignorant, just like the white folks. Have a great evening, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Bye.